All right, so in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about why your comp plan really doesn't matter. I know, interesting. So let's get into it. Hey, what's up, my fearless networking friend? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back. So, yeah, I don't think your comp plan is as important as you think it is. Okay. And look, this is not oh, Todd, I read a book one time, and now I'm going to start talking about how comp plans don't matter. And I want to clarify what I mean. What I observe is people will pitch a deal purely on the compensation plan. Oh, we've got a 9x8 spinning matrix with the unilevel hybrid binary. Just like what? Like I've literally been pitched, and I'm not going to show you, but I could. Like people that just send me a message, and it's no focus on what the product is or what the end user benefit is or any of that. It's just like you're pitching a comp plan. It drives me bananas when people do that. By the way, I've never once joined anybody who's like, here, just pitch me your comp plan. What are we selling? Right? What are these people consuming? Is it adding value to their lives or not? I mean, the fact that you're only pitching me the compensation plan tells me you don't really care anyhow, because otherwise you would have led with the problem and the solution, right? So what I mean when I say your comp plan doesn't matter. Now, of course, it matters that you have a compensation plan. If you didn't have a compensation plan, you ain't getting paid. But I want you to think about when you're out there promoting your products and you're promoting your business, that you focusing on it's a binary, it's a unilevel, it's got a matching bonus, it's got, and I'm not saying you can't talk about this stuff, but putting all of this weight on your compensation plan, or the worst thing you can do, honestly, is be out there touting how you've got the greatest compensation plan in the history of mankind. Any intelligent person is going to call you out on that baloney. Okay. They're going to be like, oh, really? So you must have done a statistical analysis against every other viable compensation plan in the entire space, and you've done a study on it, and you've done an example, you've run it where you put 5,000 people in and same amount of volume and all these comparative, these comparisons that you're running, and yours clearly pays out the highest with the same amount of people and the same amount of sales volume. Bull owning. Okay, you haven't done it. Okay, so you're only making yourself look stupid when you're touting that you've got the greatest compensation plan. Now, it's subjective. You might love it, and it might be the greatest thing that you feel that you've ever been involved in, and I think that's beautiful. But to sit there and have so much focus on the compensation plan, I think is more of it's just a waste of time. I'm not saying we, don't cover money and how the money's made and that you pay out 7 ways, 14, 28 different ways, that you pay out daily, instantly, weekly, monthly, whatever. I mean, yeah, you could include that stuff. I mean, it should be part of a conversation if you're presenting a business opportunity to somebody. But this total focus on the compensation plan, I think, is a waste of time. And the reality is, and let me just, if you don't know what the reality is, I'll give you the reality. The truth is that across the board, pretty much every network marketing compensation plan, whether it's a unilevel, a hybrid, a binary, a matrix, a combination of whatever, they all pay out roughly the same within 5-10 percentage points. Okay. They're paid out a little bit differently here, a little bit differently there. What you do need to know and understand is that every compensation plan, by nature of how it's structured, will dictate distributor behavior. That's what you need to know. So, for example, if you have a compensation plan and I sign you up as a customer and you buy $100 worth of stuff and I make $1, which would be kind of pathetic. But on the other hand, if I sign you up as a distributor, same $100, same products, and I make $50, what do you think I'm going to do? I can make $1 or I can make $50. I'm going to sign you up as a distributor. That's what I mean by it dictating behavior. So while all compensation plans have their little differences, their little intricacies, when it's all said and done, if $1 comes in and let's say 40 cents on every dollar is paid back out, money in, money out, money in, money out. Just it's paid out differently. Sometimes they reward more customers. Sometimes they reward more for, distributors. You need to understand how your compensation plan pays. I will tell you, I don't think you need to fully understand every single part of your comp plan. Most people, even really smart people that are pretty good with math, as soon as you introduce multiple levels and generational bonuses or quick pays, fast starts, overrides, matches, re-entries, I don't need to continue. As soon as you start introducing some of this stuff, it can be pretty convoluted. So what you ought to be able to do is know, what does it take for me to go from point A to point B, from point B to point C, and so on? How many people do I need to have in the business? How many personal recruits? How many legs with X amount of volume? That's something that every person in the business needs to understand. Because how can you go from here to, let's say the top position in your company is, I don't know, presidential or diamond. If you don't know what's required to get to presidential or diamond, how are you ever really going to get there? How are you going to kind of map out, okay, well, I've got this leg and this leg, but you have no clue. It's like you're shooting blind. I don't think that's smart. My main point of today's message, and it doesn't need to be long, but the emphasis on we're the greatest. Anytime you use what I would call an absolute, I think you're reducing how intelligent that you look. Because truly smart people will go, oh, really? They'll call you on the fact that you really haven't done an analysis across the board of every other compensation plan that you say you're better than. And again, it's subjective. Okay. I don't know. I'm pretty clear that there's not been anybody who's ever run that kind of study, that kind of like due diligence on every other comp plan. And if they did, the reality would be, okay, most comp plans pay out within 5-10 percentage points. And some are better, some pay more, some pay less. But if we look at the majority of compensation plans in network marketing, they are relatively close. I would say, without looking at for every $100 that goes in, somewhere between $28 and $40 gets paid out back to the field. And that's not even, I won't get into this in depth, but that doesn't even, I'm talking without even considering something called breakage. Some of you guys catching me today may not even know what that means. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what it means. Breakage is money that is calculated in the compensation plan that your company says we pay out. Let's say we pay out 40%. Okay. Okay, cool. In a perfect world, if everything's structured properly, the maximum potential payout is 40%. Okay. I'm not going to talk about BV, CV, commissionable. I'm not going to get into any of that. Just like if we're just using dollars, like, okay, $100 comes in, $40 goes back out and it's paid wherever it's paid out. Breakage is when the company is saying that they're paying out 40%, but because I am not qualified at a particular level, I'm missing out on that money. Where does that money go? Does it get saved for later? No, the company gets it. So again, I'm not going to go into much detail on that. I mean, that's not unusual. Pretty much any company has breakage, meaning if you're not qualified for it, the person below you doesn't get it, or the person upline from you doesn't get it. It was scheduled to be paid to you, but you missed whatever part of that qualification was. So it just, it's more cash for the company, which actually isn't a bad thing in terms of like the company being solvent and their ability to stay in business long term and cash flow rich is good. But I just would love to see more people focused on, instead of like, let me tell you about our compensation plan, world's greatest, nobody's got anything like it. Like, okay, yeah, no, we got a great compensation plan. It pays out well. You can use language without putting yourself into a corner where you don't get called out. And you may not get called out, but regardless of whether you do or you don't, I think it's just better to be, same thing with like I could sit here and I'll never name names. Okay. I've been doing this for too long and I just don't name names and call people out like that. But I've seen people, I know people who, like even like it's something like this, like, oh, this is the last deal. I've planted my flag. This is the last deal I'm ever gonna do. I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, it would be great if it was, but I've seen people say that, and then 3 months later, they're on to another one, which is not good business habits, by the way. I mean, if you plant your flag and get after it. Or, this is the first time in the history of network marketing this has ever been done. Or we're going to be the next $1 billion giant. Very few companies get to be $1 billion a year. You have to be an incredibly well-run shop in order for that to happen. You haven't even paid out one commission yet or delivered product yet, and you're going to be the next $1 billion giant. That's a pretty damn big claim. So I just like to see people do things the right way. And I think there is a right way, and there's certainly a wrong way. And I'm not saying you can't talk about your compensation plan and that, no, it doesn't matter at all. Of course it matters, but it shouldn't matter in terms of the primary focus of your conversation. The primary focus of your conversation would be, look, man, I represent a company, or I'm involved with this thing that's doing some great work and, solving a pretty massive problem out there. And I'd love to show you what I'm up to. Not, hey, let me tell you about this compensation plan, this binary spinning matrix with a little twist in there, which pays out to maximum infinity times 2. Now I got to start going into a Buzzy Boxer episode. And if you don't know who Buzzy is, we'll save that for another one. I haven't done Buzzy for a while, by the way. I might have to bust him out. So yeah, comp plans kind of don't matter, but you got a comp plan. Cool. Do yourself a favor. Understand this. If you're out there looking for a company, you're trying to find the best compensation plan, you're probably not going to find it. You might feel it's great for you for now or great for you for good. That's awesome. But you searching for a company and your whole focus is the compensation plan, when in all reality, most of them pay out within the same range. I mean, pretty close range, actually. And I'm talking, if we take the top 200-300 companies out there in terms of annual sales, they're all right around the same. Some a little more, some a little less. Some reward big for customer acquisition, some reward less. And as a result, they're going to probably, if it's rewarding for customers, they're going to, you'll see a lot more people bringing in customers. If it's rewarding distributors, you're going to see a lot of people bringing in distributors. If your compensation plan rewards people that have 2 strong legs, you're going to see people that build teams with 2 strong legs. So I won't get into much more detail on that, but just remember, compensation plans, they will dictate distributor behavior, pure and simple. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to do as a leader, running an organization. If you're trying to get everybody to, check this out, I'll finish with this. If you're trying to get everybody to, which is a good idea, to like have a bunch of customers, like that's what network marketing is designed, or should be designed to do. Like, we have a product, end user consumption, not internal consumption, which is we're just a bunch of distributors that are signed up and we're all just using the products and we don't really care to go get any other customers. We don't really have our, customer / distributor, kind of the same thing. No. Regulators hate that, by the way. If you're in a company where the compensation plan that you don't control, the company controls it. They put it together. You didn't put it together. It says, like, it's like rewards people for customer acquisition, and you're trying to get all your people to go recruit, and you're trying to sit there and do all your training focusing on recruiting, and you're wondering, oh, man, everybody keeps going and getting customers. Yeah, of course they're going to get customers because they make more money by going and getting customers than they do putting a person in as a rep. And I'm sure there's a balance there, but just a little note to self, if you're running teams, you need to be also aware of, okay, well, what kind of behavior is the compensation plan that I'm involved in dictating? And is my training and methodology and tools and systems, is it in alignment or in conflict with what the actual compensation plan provides people that are actually in there doing it? So kind of some random thoughts, but some fun ones for the day. Little lesson for you guys. If you're on my YouTube channel, what's up, YouTubers? Love you guys. Appreciate you. If you're on my podcast, hey, what's up, podcast? Just driving down the road, or maybe you're in the gym with me. That's cool. Wherever you're at, I appreciate you. The real conversation takes place right here. ToddFalcone.com, ToddFalcone.com. And this episode is / episode 339. So ToddFalcone.com / episode 339. And we'll see you on the next episode.